By the way you stare, the way you wrote upon me, yeah, yeah. Man, I felt your energy. Wasn't used to being loved and treated differently, yeah. But something went wrong, the signals got crossed, and now we're on completely different pages. Let's go where we were, where no one gets hurt. Baby, keep it right there, don't you stress the flow. You're trying to pick the pace up, we should take it. Baby, keep your focus, don't you make me change my mind. If you love me, baby, don't you switch up the vibe. Baby, don't you, baby, don't you, baby, don't you switch up the vibe. Baby, don't you, baby, don't you, baby, don't you.
Like It or Not with Benjamin Dixon starts now.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Hey, brother, how you doing? Brother James, welcome to Like It or Not, everyone, where we are free to tell the truth and not care who doesn't like it. It is Thursday, April 29th, 2021. How you doing, James?
I'm doing pretty good, brother. How about you, sir?
I'm doing good. I know I ask that every morning, and every morning you look like you're doing good, man. But it's just, it's just the southern dude in me that makes me always ask people how they doing, man. Like, so
hey, I appreciate it, brother. I appreciate it all the time.
Hey, man, because I'm still just like everybody else stuck in pandemic, and we're just trying to get to the other side of this thing. Good morning to everyone in the chat room, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. We're streaming all of the places. On Facebook now, you can send us stars. If you're watching and you like what you hear, you can send us stars. It's a lot like Facebook super chats. And so shout out to everyone over at Facebook. We appreciate you. Rebecca will be joining us in the second segment. Let's take a look at what happened last night as President Joe Biden gave his first joint address to Congress. Now, the speech was given to a socially distanced audience, and it wasn't considered a State of the Union address because it is so early on in his administration. We're still actually coming up to the first 100 days. Here are a few highlights and some low points of his speech last night. Let's take a look.
As Mitch and Chuck will understand, it's good to be almost home, down the hall. Anyway, thank you all. Madam Speaker, Madam Vice President, no president has ever said those words from this podium. No president has ever said those words, and it's about time.
Now, two things with this first clip of Joe Biden. You could see how socially distanced the audience was, the joint session of Congress was, and the fact that he noted the historic moment. This was, in fact, the first time that that we have both a woman as the Speaker of the House in Nancy Pelosi and a woman as a Vice President in Kamala Harris, and it was a historic moment in that regard. Joe Biden did not mention former President Trump, but he did allude to the condition that Donald Trump left the American people in with this clip where Joe Biden juxtaposed his hopefulness for the future with the the first 100 days ago, the American house was on fire.
Crisis to opportunity, setbacks into strength. We all know life can knock us down, but in America, we never, ever, ever stay down. Americans always get up. Today, that's what we're doing. America's rising anew, choosing hope over fear, truth over lies, and light over darkness. After 100 days of rescue and renewal, America's ready for a takeoff, in my view. We're working again, dreaming again, discovering again, and leading the world again. We have shown each other and the world that there's no quit in America, none. 100 days ago, America's house was on fire. We had to act. And thanks to the extraordinary leadership of Speaker Pelosi, Majority Leader Schumer, and the overwhelming support of the American people, Democrats, Independents, and Republicans, we did act. Together, we passed the American Rescue Plan, one of the most consequential rescue packages in American history. We're already seeing the results.
After that, President Joe Biden discussed COVID-19, in which he stated, quote, "There is still more work to do to beat this virus, but tonight I can say because of you, the American people, our progress these past 100 days against the worst pandemic in history has been one of the greatest logistical achievements in this country." Let's take a look at that.
Hugging their children and grandchildren instead of pressing hands against a window to say goodbye. It means everything. Those things mean everything. You know, there's still, you all know it, you know it better than any group of Americans, there's still more work to do to beat this virus. We can't let our guard down. But tonight, I can say, because of you, the American people, our progress these past 100 days against one of the worst pandemics in history has been one of the greatest logistical achievements this country's ever seen.
Now, I mentioned the low points of the night, and the first one is coming here, where President Biden spoke about the American Rescue Plan, which he stated will cut child poverty in half, which is an amazing thing. Even if we can't get everyone out of poverty, we have to start somewhere. But we should try to get every child. There should be nobody in poverty. But for the listening audience, you won't be able to see it, as half of the chamber applauded the fact that we're attacking child poverty. The Republican side of the chamber sat still and refused to applaud ending poverty.
And maybe most importantly, thanks to the American Rescue Plan, we're on track to cut child poverty in America in half this year.
And that is, quite honestly, the way the night went. You know, for all of the positive things that the administration said that they were either had done, doing, or were going to do, the Republicans sat down and refused to applaud any of it. President Biden also spoke about the Protect the Right to Organize Act, also known as the PRO Act, which would secure the rights of workers to unionize across the country. And as an addendum, he also called for an increase to the minimum wage of $15 an hour.
And unions built the middle class. So that's why I'm calling on Congress to pass Protect the Right to Organize Act, the PRO Act, and send it to my desk so we can support the right to unionize. And by the way, while you're thinking about sending things to my desk, let's raise the minimum wage to $15. No one.
Now, we'll get to the fact that they had an opportunity to raise their wage to $15 an hour. We'll talk about that in a moment. But before we go there, I want to talk about the next part of Joe Biden's speech that stood out to me as he called out the scam of trickle-down economics, the idea that if you cut taxes for the wealthy, that it would somehow trickle down into the middle class and the working class. Now, most of us have known for decades that this was, as George H.W. put it, nothing more than voodoo economics. But it was good to hear a sitting president finally call trickle-down economics what it really was.
My fellow Americans, trickle-down economics has never worked. And it's time to grow the economy from the bottom and the middle out.
You know, as you can see, not a single Republican would applaud that, because that has been the scam that has been run on the American people for the last 42 years since Ronald Reagan took office in 1980, or he was elected into office in 1980. That's a brief summary of Biden's speech last night. Some of the biggest highlights included specifically the issues that the Republicans refused to clap for, including cutting childhood poverty. He spoke about ending the war in Afghanistan. Not a single Republican clapped for that. He talked about protecting workers' rights. Not a single Republican clapped for that. They sat down. And expanding child care for parents, which is a tremendous help to anyone with children. Republicans not only didn't clap for things that were obviously good for the people, Ted Cruz found himself asleep, possibly dreaming of his next vacation to Cancun. I mean, dude was completely, James, he was gone, man. He was dozing off the whole night. Between him and Mitt Romney and Mitch McConnell, like there were just clips, close-ups of them, and it was easier to see everybody because it was a socially distanced night. But I mean, who wouldn't clap for ending? I mean, and again, I want to emphasize, if we can end half of childhood poverty, then we have the ability to end all of childhood poverty. Now, maybe. And I know I know what I'm getting ready to say is pretty ridiculous, but maybe the Republicans weren't clapping for ending half of childhood poverty because they wanted him to end all of childhood poverty. But James, something tells me that's not really what was bothering them. I think what was bothering them is that it's going to cost them some increased taxes for us to do it.
Definitely, that's what that is. That's all that is. Because it's not a single person clapping. Man, y'all
not
stuck
a
on
single.
Trump. They stuck on Trump so much, bro.
Man, it was a good speech, and it was pretty hopeful in terms of if he actually does. Let me say it like this: if President Biden gets accomplished what he said he was going to do last night, then it actually will be tremendous. It will help so many Americans. We need to pass the PRO Act because there's about 37 states that are right to work states, including Florida and Georgia. Like these jobs, they call it right to work, but that means that you can be fired without any recourse. Right. And so not only can you be fired without any recourse, but it's structurally an impediment to organizing in unions. We saw the fight for unions in Bessemer, Alabama against Amazon, and we see how important it is for people to be able to unionize. So if he can accomplish cutting childhood poverty in half, I say let's go for all of it. If he can accomplish getting the PRO Act passed, if they can accomplish the expansion of child care so that the benefits to families being able to get universal child. I mean, if he can get some of those things done, it would be amazing. But Republicans actually are acting like these things, which are not remotely socialist. They're just decent. Right. But Republicans all night acted as though it was the worst speech that they had ever heard and that everything that he was fighting for was a bad thing. And this includes Senator Tim Scott, the Republican who gave the response to the speech last night. And he said a lot of things in the speech. We have 2 clips from Tim Scott, and he said a whole lot of things. But what stood out besides his relentless pandering to the Republican Party and trying to make it seem like, Joe Biden, well, he's a good guy, but he's too radical is essentially what he was saying last night. But what stood out to me about Tim Scott, James, was how he was peddling the dog whistles that Republicans have been saying about Black women and single mothers for generations now. And it's the idea of the welfare queen. Tim Scott came in and he's laundering. He's like, smuggling in these same tropes that make Republicans feel as though, he's one of the good ones. And, he's talking about single mothers because we know the problem in this country is single motherhood. That's the image and the thinking of Republicans. Tim Scott really has found a way to try to blend in those racist dog whistles and mix them in with some type of positive Black affirmation. And he did this with this first clip about him growing up in a single mother home. I want everyone to listen very closely at how many racist tropes he includes in this first clip. Let's take a listen.
Growing up, I never dreamed I would be standing here tonight. When I was a kid, my parents divorced. My mother, my brother, and I moved in with my grandparents. 3 of us sharing one bedroom. I was disillusioned and angry, and I nearly failed out of school. But I was blessed. First, with a praying mama. And let me say this, to the single mothers out there who are working their tails off, working hard, trying to make the ends meet, wondering if it's worth it, you can bet it is. God bless your amazing effort on the part of your kids.
I mean, you absolutely know the way that this played out to Republicans at home, those white conservatives watching Fox News at home. They were like, that's right, Tim Scott. You were angry, or you're an angry young black man, and your mother, was single. These are the types of things that Republicans and conservatives, in particular, white conservatives to be more precise, these are the types of tropes that they have always forwarded about black people, single motherhood being the problem, not the fact that households are broken up for all kinds of reasons, particularly the flooding of crack in black communities by the CIA. They're never going to talk about that. They're never going to talk about the economic impact of wages not increasing over the last 40 years. Like there's so many reasons that there are broken households, not only in the black community, but across the country. 50% of marriages end in divorce. 50% of Christian marriages end in divorce. But what's important for Republicans and conservatives, white conservatives to be specific, is that we never explore all of the underlying issues, the economic issues, the social issues that they want. What they want you to do is always focus on the quote unquote behavior and the quote unquote laziness of the exactly what Ronald Reagan called them, which was welfare queens. This is just an extension. This is just the blackface on top of the welfare queen rhetoric. And this clown went even so far as to say that despite him being pulled over 7 times in this country for no reason at all, in the beginning of his speech, he talked about he has suffered racism and how he had Tim Scott, been pulled over 7 times for no reason at all. He wanted to make sure that you knew that there's no racism in America. And if there's racism, he said it's on the part of progressives who called him an Uncle Tom. Let's take a look in.
Today, kids are being taught that the color of their skin defines them again. And if they look a certain way, they're an oppressor. From colleges to corporations to our culture, people are making money and gaining power by pretending we haven't made any progress at all, by doubling down on the divisions we've worked so hard to heal. You know this stuff is wrong. Hear me clearly. America is not a racist country. It's backwards to fight discrimination with different types of discrimination. And it's wrong to try to use our painful past to dishonestly shut down debates in the present.
James, your boy talked about him being called an Uncle Tom. But last night, trending on Twitter was Uncle Tim Scott. And the fact that this clown can't see how he is perhaps one of the best stepping fetches that I have seen in public office in a long time. He just has no self-awareness except for the fact that he knows exactly who he's talking to. He's talking to the Fox News viewer. He's talking to the Donald Trump supporter. He's talking to those people who look at the black community and think that the only thing that's wrong with the black community is the fact that they ain't married and they need to get married and they need to get Jesus. These types of things. That's exactly who this clown was talking to. You said you heard his speech in particular last night.
Yeah, I came in like right on that part of talking about the single mothers. I missed that part last night about there's no racism in America.
Yeah.
What America are you living in? What the hell? Because after you just turn on the news, you can see everything that you need to see and have your answer right there. I'm just like, what? What are you talking about? Uncle Tim.
Uncle Tim, hashtag Uncle Tim is trending. And actually, that would be much more accurate because anyone who knows the story of Uncle Tom's cabin, Uncle Tom wasn't the one who betrayed. It was the other name escapes me. But Uncle Tim is far more accurate than Uncle Tom. And I think, and then I was watching the recap on Fox News because I don't know, I like, I'm a sadist, I guess. But this dude, they were pumping him up as the greatest thing that ever happened to the Republican Party. They're pushing the idea that Tim Scott will run for president and that he could possibly be, replace Donald Trump as the leader of the Republican Party. But I think they're missing something fundamental. One, he has no political prowess whatsoever. He has absolutely no charisma. I mean, he's got as much charisma as a cyborg, man. This guy is not, I mean, and it's not just the fact that he's a cornball. It's the fact that they're putting him up thinking that he's going to be the solution to their race problems. The fact that they are racist in the Republican Party, the fact that they are doing everything they possibly can to ensure that not only do we not get justice in this country, but that we believe that there's nothing wrong in this country, right? It's not good enough for us to stand down and no longer march and fight on behalf of black people. What conservatives like Tim Scott actually want, they want black people in this country to think that there's nothing wrong with this country. And they feel like he is their conduit to get that accomplished. Like he's their gateway. Yes. Here's our guy. We could put this black dude up here and he's going to tell you that America's not a racist country. So black folks, America can't possibly be a racist country. And it's
funny, man, because that's what I was just about to say. They have him up here to make him the blackface of America. When is America going to realize, and the people in office going to realize, that you putting a random black person on the screen and having them talk to us about single motherhood and racism in America, it's not going to work anymore, y'all. It may have worked when Obama was in office. Hey, we got a black president in office. But now these days, no, it's not going to work. And no, absolutely not.
And the reason it's not going to work, I mean, that's a great option. It's not going to work because, we've peeped game a long time ago. Right. It took a little while for us to unravel all of the BS narratives that have been pushed on this country, on black people in this country specifically, in order to protect this country from ever having to change. Right. The entire welfare queen trope that Ronald Reagan forwarded back in the 80s, that stuck. Like that got entrenched into the national conversation, so much so that it became a part of a certain segment of the black community. It became a part of their language, not directly calling it welfare queen, but respectability politics, right? The idea, and this is what he was saying in the first clip that we played of Uncle Tim. It was the idea that black folks needed to sit up straight and wear the right clothes and do this. And if you do all these things, you wouldn't face racism in this country, or you wouldn't have any problems in this country, because they would never admit that racism actually ever existed. It took a while for us to unravel that narrative out of the national discourse. But you're absolutely right, James. That ain't working today. Nobody's going to sit around and say, oh, the problem in this country is that single mothers aren't doing enough work and they're lazy. But this is still the same exact narrative that these clowns on the Republican side of the aisle, and the conservative movement, and people like Tim Scott and Candace Owens, who have no problems being the black face of white supremacy, they have to understand that the jig is up. Like, nobody is falling for that anymore, because we understand that there are structural problems in this country that has this country specifically designed to exploit as many people as they possibly can, not only black people, right? The exploitation goes across the board, and we understand that now. And that conversation is in the national discourse. And clowns like Tim Scott, he can get up there with this language that's stolen directly from the 80s, taken directly from Ronald Reagan, and think that that's going to help elevate him to the nation, to the top of the ticket. But he's got to understand something. There's going to be plenty of conservatives who would never vote for him simply because he is black. And he thinks he's going to be able to be this grand champion of the grand old party. But at the end of the day, he's just a useful token. And they're putting him up there to be the black face of white supremacy. And I'm sorry to give him such a hard time. But this brother actually had the nerve to say, in the backdrop of George Floyd, in the backdrop of Ahmad Arbery, in the backdrop of Breonna Taylor, Dante Wright, Walter Scott, all the names that we begin to list, and we can't even list them all. In the backdrop of all that, he's got the nerve to say that America is not a racist country. Well, I don't know what country he's living in, but he's clearly not living in the real world. James, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we have a lot more to cover, a lot more news and politics, more like it or not, after this.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And everybody in the chat is saying that that's Uncle Ruckus. And if you don't know who Uncle Ruckus is, make sure that you check out the Boondocks, okay? Good morning again, everyone. It's your boy, DJ Exclusive James Bubba Williams, y'all. Shout out to Bernie Hart Dragon. Wait, this was the Republican response? I thought I was watching Get Out Part 2. Someone check on Brother Tim. He is not okay. Bro, he is not okay. Thank you again so much, Bernie Hart Dragon, for your super chat. Oh my gosh, y'all. Welcome again this morning, y'all. Good morning, mama. Good morning, Sensation. Hope y'all enjoying the show today, y'all. Martha, good morning. Shout out to everybody that's streaming, watching on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, everywhere that we're streaming, y'all. YouTube, shout out YouTube family. Make sure that y'all hit those likes, comments, subscribe, share, y'all, so you know when, like it or not, it's going down. Had to hit y'all with a classic.
She says it's so close she can taste it. I saw the look in her eyes, I was unsurprised. Ain't nothing new, already been through this 100 times. She can't settle. Hunger strong enough to smash metal, so I slide in the driver's seat and mash the gas pedal. Blast off across
Nat A, Nat M, good morning, y'all. Melanie, good morning. Shout out brother Latif, brother Bryce, good morning, y'all.
Eyes in all directions, I'm never stepping blindly.
Torches and pitchforks, good morning.
Just doing what is able in the game to provide for his family. Food on the table, it's cold outside, but the package is hot. Gotta make them pick up, don't pick up. It's smooth to make them get to the spot.
Yo, I'm never rushing.
Mary Mitchell, good morning, good morning.
Moon shines down like it knows something. I hope it doesn't. I'm at the pickup spot that got the best product. Package in the back of the restaurant. The chef got it.
Shout out Chuck Diesel. Good morning, Chuck. I see you doing your thing this morning. So I really appreciate you. Good morning. Juliet, good morning, good morning. Courtney, shout out to you, Courtney. Brenda, what's going on? Good morning.
I feel the hunger too, but I stay loyal. Gotta get the package back to the boss before her blood boils. It's covered in foil, wrapped up tight. The only thing that satisfies her appetite, she's gotta have it right. My love for her is crazy. I'll make it back safely. Watch her face light up because it's that tasty.
Susan, good morning, good morning.
Just give it up. I'm not your girl and I never will be. Don't call me up. Don't waste your time, 'cause
Nicole,
I'll
good
be
morning,
with
Nikki,
you.
good morning.
If you want love, look somewhere
Avery,
else.
good morning
You'll
to
find
you.
nothing. Just give it up. I'm not your girl, 'cause I only love me.
Avery, I appreciate that.
Get me
You know, I
wrong.
do what I can. Pink look good on this chocolate ass skin of
Together
mine.
when I feel done with having fun on my own, it's better to care for yourself, not rely on somebody else. So don't get me wrong, I'm just riding alone. Just walk away, 'cause I got no intentions of hanging out with you tonight. Don't look,
Had to take y'all to the island for a minute. Let's wind your ass.
I'm alright.
Mara Chase, this is my song too, Mara.
Just give it up, you got the wrong girl. You got the wrong.
Shout out to Luke Kane. Shout out to Tiger. Tiger, hope you feeling better, Tiger.
You got the wrong, you got the wrong.
Purple Rain Hearts, good morning, good morning. Thank you so much again.
This is my time. I'm feeling good. Root every
You know what I forgot to do that we're going to jump into real quick before we get back to the show. Let's read off some of our new patrons this morning, y'all.
Need someone else, someone who gets you. Don't stick around. I'm pretty.
We're going to do a little wine while we read our patrons this morning. Y'all ready? All right, our new patrons this morning, y'all. New patrons this morning. We have Kevin G, Monique H, Rishonda A, Melanie C, Betty D. Come on, they fit, y'all. Felicia W. Okay, we're missing it right there. Mia T. Kenneth M. And our new Twitch subscriber, Eraserhead. Love that handle name, Eraserhead. Shout out to everybody that's joined and all our new patrons, y'all. If you want to become a Patreon or patron and support the show, you can as well, too. You can go to patreon.com/likeItOrNot. Patreon.com/likeItOrNot, y'all. Make sure that you hit the like button, share, comment, and subscribe. Comment now for your free reading. All right, y'all. Welcome back to the show. Ben, and of course, my sister from another mister, Rebecca Azor. Rebecca, throw your hands up.
Not you giving Miss Cleo.
Yeah,
Patreon.com.
Patreon.com.
Oh man, that dude, Tim Scott is all over the news this morning. He's on Fox News right now. He's on Fox News right now as we speak.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
He's
So the
trying
thing
real hard.
So the thing about him is I really wanted so bad to just play the clips fresh out while I was on here. That's the only reason I did not watch them, because I was at work, but I could have played it last night. I already saw all the clips. I've already seen, when I say clips, that's all the verbal versions, the verbal breakdowns of the clips, what was being said. And it was all Tim Coonery.
Tim Coonery.
And,
Tim Coonery.
and it was all Uncle Tim. And so I wanted to come here and wanted to be early, but I was at the job. But I wanted to definitely be with y'all so we could watch it together. And I missed it,
Dude
and I'm
was
so
a
mad
clown,
about
man.
it. Dang.
Dude is a clown. He really.
Clown.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It is an accomplishment. Like, let's just stay on the scale of 1 to 10 in terms of like careers. Like, to be able to get elected to the Senate is an accomplishment. Congratulations, dude. It only cost you your soul. And long since cost you your black
But
card,
nobody's
because-
knocking that. That man got on national television and said basically everything that Lindsey Graham said. They ain't no, just backed up the white rhetoric and said that there is no racism in America. And then to say, and I wanted to watch it with y'all, I wanted it to be a family affair, and then to say that
tell your job to leave you alone in the morning. No.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
But I need that money. I need my bills to be paid. But when he said, this was the part that got me, I think, and this wasn't even the worst of it, I hear, but when he stated with his own African-American mouth that woke, the woke movement is far more dangerous. And I can't say this is verbatim, but it was this. The woke movement is far more dangerous. And I believe him saying the woke movement is him talking about the Black Lives Matter movement. But the woke movement is far more dangerous than white supremacy. My God, today. He said it. He said it. He said it on the people's national television. He said that the woke movement is basically more dangerous than white
and then he tweeted
supremacy.
that. And then he tweeted out, "Hear me clearly. America is not a racist country." And I'm like, dude, you really. But he started the whole thing by saying, "I've suffered from being targeted for no reason. 7 times I got pulled over by the cops." Negro, you got
But
pulled
that's because
over
I'm black.
Because
That's
you black.
because I'm black. He says it like it's just because I'm black. I'm black and I just get pulled over. So I have to act inferior because I'm black. So it's been 7 times. But
okay.
when I comply with the officers, or when I comply with people who come at me because of the color of my skin disrespectfully. That's my role here in America. And that's what makes it not racist. Black folks just, stand in line and get in line and obey and comply and, know that their skin makes them inferior in this country. Right there.
And don't say anything about it. Don't say anything about. See, the biggest thing, because he was putting in context, Tim Scott was putting it in context of the implicit bias training and the critical race theory that is being taught at universities. And he's saying he's saying that those things are a threat to this country. And you said it perfectly, Rebecca. This is exactly what Lindsey Graham said the other day. He said, no, there's no systemic racism in the United States of America, because they understand if we actually addressed the systemic racism in this country, that means they're going to have to run us our reparations. That means they're going to have to run us not only economic power, but political power. That means that in every single aspect of this country that has been built by black people we have to be rewarded for all the efforts that we have put into this country since the founding of this country. I mean, the first person to die in a Revolutionary War was a black man, right? So all of these things that America has been built on the backs of black people, only thing that we've gotten from this country is just a litany of racism and struggles that we have had to overcome. And yet, and still, he's sitting here saying he's doing the bidding. He is just he is a more polished version of Candace Owens. He is an elected version of Candace Owens, and that's it.
Yes.
He gave us and I think if people didn't know who Tim Scott was, me, like I knew who he was, but I didn't know who he was. You know today. And that is the worst way to leave your legacy in this here America. And you know, in the world. And then for me to know that they gave the rebuttal to a black man so that they can, because you don't see this week, it's been America isn't racist. That's been the whole storyline this week, that America isn't racist. So they were already knowing that this moment was going to come. Let's get our whitest black man, but make sure he's a male and that he's black, because you know he has to be a male, especially in working in these positions. We got to get a male because you know he's in power, he's going to show strength. But let's make him black. You know, let's make sure we get the whitest one that obeys everything that we say. But you know, I mean, black. So they put him up there to do a rebuttal against the president of the United States. Everybody was like, who is this man? And then as he started to speak about the pandemic and how we're going to have the best spring ever, we're looking forward to the best spring ever. Following that rhetoric of, you know, mask off, let's just live our lives. You know, the pandemic is basically over. It was all unhealthy. It was all a sad sight to see. It was all very disappointing. Yeah, you know, like I want to repeat after Dr. Umar, who says, you know, I was hurt. No, I'm disappointed. Or was that Killer Mike? It was one of the two. But that's how I felt. I wasn't hurt seeing that, but I was very disappointed that he would get up there and do that. And and he tried to make it black by starting, like you said, with what you said. He tried to say, I too have you know,
but we overcame. I overcame my anger. I was an angry black man, but I overcame my anger through the magic of education. I moved into the big house.
I did right in the fields, and I moved into the big house.
Said it. Anna Hart said it in chat. She was just like, "Oh, it's okay if the black man says it." That's why they put him up there.
Yeah,
that's why they put him up there.
But could and this is just a really this is a family that are not black. Y'all don't comment here. Don't comment here. This is for us, right? Because we still would defend that man if we had to on certain things.
Yes, we would though. If somebody would have said.
Yeah. Because there was a white dude on Twitter last night who kept calling him an Uncle Tom. I'm like, ho, slow down. Now he's an Uncle Tim, but you can't say either one, right? But that said, could they possibly have drawn up, sketched together a composite image, a drawing of someone who looks more like a coon than this clown?
Because they all have similar looks. If we look at Ben Carson, we can see something. It's a pattern. It's a similar look, and they believe when you have this particular look, it's giving the same thing. It looks like they're breeding Daniel Cameron in the same way. Like
Daniel, they're
molding him. Yes, they're
clones,
molding
man.
him. Sooner or later, Daniel Cameron too. The hate will have his hairline on his neck.
Oh my God!
And you know,
well, we can't talk about hairlines on this show.
What I'm saying is, he's very young. Daniel Cameron is very young. So, you know, they'll have that on his neck, and then he will too start wearing glasses all of a sudden. But for that particular look, and if you look at all of them, they're very square. They're very just, you know, there's nothing there. Like not even for us to be like, you know, that man ain't no good, but he did come. Look at that suit now. Look at that suit. Nothing. There's nothing there but full whiteness on the black.
Let me tell you something. I just have resolved in my life that there's a couple things at the end of the day that is going to outlast for me, not for anybody else. I can't speak for anybody else, but for me, the things that will last the longest is my personal family, folks in my household. That's the bottom line for me at the end of the day. And my black family. Now, not all black skin folk or kinfolk, right? But the last thing I'm going to do is get on a national platform and basically funnel all of the white supremacist talking points that have been used to hurt black people for time immemorial in order to get anything, a job, a political office, money. Because what Tim Scott going to do at the end of the day when the Republicans abandon him? Where he going to go? He going to go back to his personal family because his personal family going to love him, but that's going to be about it because it's not going to be a single black church. It's not going to be a single cookout. There's not going to be a single community that he will be able to be welcomed into because he has, on behalf of his personal ambitions, he has traded in his blackness for the banner of white supremacy. And I'm sorry, it's just like there's no amount of success worthwhile on the face of this planet for me to betray my family and my household or my black family. I'm just not doing it. So,
and look, and I mean, he's definitely going to pay for it in some way. After this is going to be his legacy. This is going to be how people remember him. Ben Carson, was his surgeon or whatever. And then he got the role to work in HUD as the head of HUD or whatever. They're not going to remember him for how great he was.
I mean, look what they did with your boy Herman Cain.
Yes, and that man died, and people was just like,
that man died on behalf of them. And
people literally just was like,
and that was it.
Herman died. And that's it. Like, let's move on.
That was it.
They almost treated him like they treated. Yeah, it's just like that man died of COVID-19, sitting amongst Trump supporters, supporting Donald Trump. You know what I mean? And it being a part of the anti-maskers in a way, when it was being created, that movement and or that cult, and that man is gone. That black man is gone, and
they were still using that man after he died.
Yes, they used his. That's the voice of God.
The voice of God.
That is the voice of God, people. He felt that, and I feel it too. Thank you, Dwayne. They were using him when he died. They used his Twitter account, and he was tweeting from the grave. Ben was so mad. I remember he was like,
"Bro, somebody put
tweeting from the grave."
Somebody put a casket on the timeline, and in response, and said to Herman Cain, said, "This you?" And I was like. God. That was the most cold-blooded thing.
It was killing me. It was killing me, and
I just know this party is. I mean, if number one, the Republicans are not going to elect a black person to be the head of their party. They're just not there yet. Right? They don't have the numbers. They don't have enough people who are comfortable with blackness to actually elect a black person, even if they're doing the bidding of white supremacy. Tim Scott made it to the Senate, and that's a tremendous accomplishment. But at the end of the day, that's the scale. That's as far as he can go. Now he can continuously just serve them. Right? He can continuously just be the guy on television who is peddling white supremacy through a black face. But in terms of him, because all the conversations last night, particularly on the Republican stations, Fox News and the sort, was about, he's going to be, he's preparing. He's got a bright future. He's going to run for president. I'll wait on it. Don't hold your breath. Because if you think for a second that the Republicans that there's enough people in every state by state, you think he's going to win Mississippi? You think he's going to win Virginia? You think this man going to win Alabama? You think this man going to win Georgia? No. Not at all. Not in no primaries. So anyway, we'll let Tim. We'll give him a little breather. He's having a hard enough time on Twitter today, so we'll let him be.
And it's gonna get worse. I hope for him. Punk.
No. We can't let up on that man. We can't let up on that man.
We can't let up on that man
because
stay on his ass.
Y'all have to be shocked about that rebuttal. To be honest, no one was expecting that, and then a black man just pulled up with all his teeth. And sitting up there on them people's
all them
screen.
5,000 teeth.
He had about 4,000. He had a lot of
sitting up
teeth.
there like this.
Yeah,
okay.
And I can't. I know I'm on braces, and I got about 10,000 myself. But I was just like, it could have been a beautiful smile going on. It could have been a nice black situation where they thought he was going to say something. He turned around and be like, you know what? These white folks got me up here thinking I was going to say something. But listen, y'all. there's a lot of things I need to talk about and get off my chest. Lindsey Graham, I know you want, you over here saying that you started this conversation that America ain't racist, but I'm gonna have to tell you, and I wish he would have did it in the voice from where he's from. I would have loved him to be in his whole self and just bring it all and literally turn on them. And I would have been like, you know what? Forget the cookout, because I ain't even going to the cookout. It's infiltrated with a lot of white folks that y'all invited. I would have been like, you know what?
You took the word.
He deserves a Haitian plate. I'll have somebody cook him up something good. But nobody is doing that. Nobody is literally saying, you know what? I'm going to let these white folks get me to the chair, get me to the TV screen, and I'm going to turn on them. I'm going to turn on them something nice, because the support that he would get for just speaking his truth or his real experience and not what they're forcing him to say. And sometimes I told you, after being in that world, after being with those people for so long, and after acting and walking in coonery for so long, you literally become it, and you start thinking that this is who you are. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I think the one thing about Tim that he's going to regret is really the fact that somewhere inside of him, he knows what he's saying is BS. And he knows that he's going to, because there are plenty of, this is not to say that you can't be a black Republican, right? It's not to say that you can't be a black conservative. I don't know why the hell you would be, but there are plenty of black conservatives and black Republicans who understand, on top of their conservative ideology, that this country has a problem with white supremacy. So it's not that you can't go out here and run as a Republican and get elected. It's that you can't go out here and run as a Republican and get elected and tell the truth about this country. But Tim Scott is going one step further. Not only is he not telling the truth about this country, he's telling a whole slew of lies in order to try to curry favor with people who were never going to elect him to be the nominee for the Republican ticket for president in the first place. So he's exchanging a whole lot for the hopes of moving his career even further, when in reality, man, there was nothing wrong with you being a black conservative. It's just the fact that you're a black conservative who's found his way to the top being through white supremacy, and that's what he's going to maybe one day, if he actually has some type of consciousness awakened in him, that he'll regret some of the things. But I just can't for the life of me understand how someone in this day, like we have so many stories to cover today about police murders of black people, right? And not only the police, but the entire system working to ensure that we can't get justice for those black lives. And not only that, but you have the media that is actually trying to make it seem like, oh, the worst, damn it, we just got through talking about Ma'Khia Bryant. And it's not even just conservative media. You had folks on MSNBC, CNN, who are peddling these same white and you're going to tell me that this country is not a racist nation?
It's simple.
I'm sorry.
It is.
I'm sorry.
The simple fact is that it is. We can, it's not even a conversation. History tells us this is a racist country. Facts tell us that this is a racist country.
Period.
Science tells us that this is a racist country. Christianity, he tells us that this is everything literally tells us
astrology
that America
tells us
is a racist country. Other countries tell us that America is a racist country. So I don't know how much it needs to be said, done. We need to pull out examples. We need to show, videos. We need to show documentaries. White folks who are on our side need to tell it what needs to be done, because it's already been done. And these people are still trying to put that out there. And they sent a black man yesterday to give us the message, thinking that it's going to change how we feel. It did not.
They will always have, there's always going to be enough people willing to do the bidding of white supremacy, enough black people, enough brown people, enough Muslims who are willing to do the the Islamophobic bidding of these powerful, rich white men. Particularly white men. There are always going to be a handful of people, because it is a lucrative job to do. And, he's just one in a long list of people, and it will continue. Even after Herman Cain was dead and gone, they had a replacement. So anyway, let's move on.
So too bad for Tim. Tim, sorry for you. Sorry to that
Sorry
man.
to that man.
Sorry to that man. Okay. Sorry to that man. And that in the end.
Oh man. So he wasn't the only person. Tim Scott wasn't the only person that had a hard day yesterday. Rudy Giuliani. Rudy
Mr.
Giuliani had
Beijing. Mr. Cocoa Bean Beijing.
Hey, Rudy Giuliani
That's
had
hilarious.
a hard time yesterday, and it's not looking good for him. Rebecca, you got that one?
Yep. On Wednesday, agents from the FBI raided the Manhattan residence of Rudy Giuliani, former federal prosecutor and personal lawyer to former President Donald Trump. According to Giuliani's attorney, these agents seized electronic devices such as cell phones and laptops. Federal investigators have been looking into Giuliani's dealings with Ukrainian officials, but it's unknown what this raid was specifically looking into. Rudy Giuliani's son, Andrew Giuliani, gave a press conference to reporters after news broke of the raid. In it, he decried the heavy-handed nature of the Department of Justice. Let's take a look at this first clip.
Mind you, I'm speaking as a son and a concerned American. Anybody, any American, whether you're red or blue, should be extremely disturbed by what happened here today, by the continued politicization of the Justice Department. This is disgusting. This is absolutely absurd, and it's the continued politicization of the Justice Department that we have seen.
Okay.
I love the little anger. It was just like, I'm so mad. This is terrible. And this is not,
My
you know
dad.
what's crazy? They come in uniform too. Those age groups and that particular, they come very uniform. They give us that Johnny Bravo. They give us,
I didn't, Rebecca, I didn't understand.
Hates it. You know, it's
They were comparing him to Will Ferrell yesterday, and I didn't understand until I just saw it. But he totally sounds like Will Ferrell on Wedding
character,
on Wedding Crashers, or on Step Brothers. So many activities.
Yes, he is giving definitely Will Ferrell energy, but Will Ferrell in his character. That's how you know these people are fake and phony. That is crazy.
Yeah.
That's a good one though.
Oh,
but don't you see they all come uniform? They
Ugh.
come uniform. Line them up, and they all have
be
this
ready.
gelled back, the Donald Trump Jr. type.
Yes.
It's
Oh, wow.
terrible.
Slick back.
Ted Cruz.
It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
terrible. If you really put all of them in the lineup, that's crazy.
I'm
They
telling
all-
you, it's
yeah.
the sons. They all the sons, the kids.
All the
but,
kids.
he continued by somehow drawing Hunter Biden into the picture. Let's take a look.
The only piece of evidence that they did not take up there today was the only piece of incriminating evidence that is in there. And it does not belong to my father. It belongs to the current president's son.
See? Please tell us how the son got anything to do with anything. But because the kids, they got to go reach for the other kid. There is this is nonsense that they are doing in these press conferences. This is full on nonsense. But Four Seasons Total Landscaping, the company that was mistakenly chosen by the Trump campaign to host a press conference by Rudy Giuliani during the November election, got in on the fun. They tweeted, quote, "Wrong apartment. We kicked him out months ago."
This is the picture of the screen. I don't know if y'all remember that, but Donald Trump thought that they were Rudy Giuliani was setting up a press conference for Donald Trump, and they thought that they were going to the Four Seasons, the hotel. They ended up at Four Seasons Landscaping, which looks exactly like this. So shout out to the social media manager for that company.
The messiness.
The shade of it all. They got in. They got those clicks too. Boy, they got those clicks. So Rudy Giuliani's in trouble.
For whatever reason, and this is outside of them saying he had Ukrainian dealings. This is outside of that. So I would love to see it. I would love to know. I would love to know what they're in his house raiding it for, and how they got the kid outside so mad. That means somebody's in trouble. Yes.
Well, I'm trying to think of what was Will Ferrell's line in Wedding Crashers that he was like, "Ma, meatloaf now." And this is what
That's what it's giving. It's giving. Yeah, it's definitely
so many
giving that.
activities, man. Yeah. So they confiscated his laptops. They confiscated his cell phones, and they had a search warrant, which suggests that they had already had the investigation has already taken place. They were able to either get in front of a grand jury, or they got in front of a federal judge and got the authorized to get this. So that suggests that there is something already that they have. The feds already have some information on Rudy Giuliani that is going to cause him a problem. Now they went and got his cell phones and his laptop. And let me tell y'all something. Listen, every single person watching or listening right now, I don't care how good of a person you are, whatever it is that you have ever done wrong, you did it on your cell phone. So Rudy Giuliani, his ass is grass. I don't know how far it's going to go.
He looks like he could be that irresponsible as somebody in leadership, like the rest of them who have been caught with things on their cell phones. But Rudy Giuliani is, I think, at his breaking point when it comes to all of this. This is it. I hope this is it for him as far as, I don't even know. Like
I was going to say, you think Donald Trump's other personal attorney, Michael Cohen, he actually got found guilty, indicted, got found guilty, and spent time in jail because of his work tied to Donald Trump. So, I mean, these people have really, I'm sorry, I'm not going down for anybody else's stupidity. Right. Like, if I'm going to go down, it's going to be because I chose to do something wrong on my behalf, not on behalf of somebody else.
Would this be it for him? I don't know, because
we'll see.
You would think, with all the mess that he has been included in under Donald Trump's presidency, there would be a time that he would have wanted to throw in the towel at some point. But now that man been riding for that man, he even was out there. He fought that fight. He led the fight that led us to January 6th. Terrorist attack at the Capitol. Rudy Giuliani definitely was whistleblowing for a minute. Okay, and leading these Trump campaigns and saying that Joe Biden didn't win, and pushing for these trials and things to take it to Supreme Court and here and there to prove that Donald Trump was still president. He was the leader in all that. So, I wouldn't be surprised if there is some mess, because let me tell you something, was everything, when your heart is nasty and you start to bleed out that cocoa bean Beijing, and you start all of that.
I wish we had that picture.
That nastiness, that all of that. Your life will be disrupted at some point, even if it's on your last day. Look how Herman Cain is remembered. Huh? Look at that.
999. That's way before everybody's time. 999 was back in 2012, but Herman Cain. Boy, the Beijing, the leaking hair dye. I can't even remember where that was. I know it was Rudy Giuliani, but I can't remember. But the thing that I remember the most about Rudy Giuliani during this election, did y'all see the Borat special where they had him in that hotel? And he got caught in a compromised position with this young woman. It was just he's not the sharpest tack in the entire collection. I think he's going to find himself on the receiving end of some serious indictments, especially when they get done with this search warrant that they just executed. So
definitely.
All right.
Well,
so it goes
more
even
Trump
further.
news. Yeah. And then in more Trump news, because I don't see why it's just Trump folks still talking and saying things. But Brendan Hunt, an enthusiastic Trump supporter who called for killing members of Congress days after the January 6th terrorist attack, was found guilty Wednesday of making a death threat against elected officials. It took the jury in his case about 3 hours to reach a verdict, finding that comments Hunt made in a disturbing video posted online 2 days after the terrorist attack amounted to a genuine threat to murder elected officials in Washington. Hunt took the witness stand in his defense Tuesday, telling the jury he was not to be taken seriously when he talked about gunning down elected officials.
What? I'm sorry, what? Because there's a title of it. The video was on the screen where he said, kill your, put it back up. Was it congressmen or senators? Kill your senators. How is that not to be taken seriously?
Look at him. Look at him.
And the thing is that this
Charles Manson vibes for real.
Yes.
Seriously. Like, these people stormed the Capitol on January 6th. They broke into the offices. They actually, several officers died because of this insurrection, because of this terrorist attack. And he goes the next day or several days later, and this Brendan Hunt character, and says to kill your senators. And he wants us to not take him seriously. See, that's the thing. We have a whole thing in this country where people believe that they literally can get away with saying anything and that it should all be protected by the First Amendment. But I'm sorry, there are certain things you cannot incite violence. You cannot go into a movie theater and scream fire and then be like, oh, no, I'm just kidding, when it causes the chaos and the panic. And this guy speaking to so many people, you got to understand who we're dealing with with conservatives. We're dealing with people who believe in QAnon. We're dealing with people who believe in Pizzagate, right? We're dealing with people who believe like all kinds of ridiculous conspiracy theories, and they have acted on it. It's one thing to believe it, but we have a track record of people being harmed, people going into the Pizzagate led this one guy to go to a pizza parlor and shoot up the place. Right. So when you say these things, and Tucker Carlson, we keep bringing him up on this show, but he's a part of this too. Now, he's not dumb as Brendan Hunt and going to say, go and kill your elected officials, but he would say, go and confront people who are wearing masks and do it firmly and, all these kind of things. So this is beyond the pale in terms of the conversation of free speech, and it cannot be lumped into that category. And most of these things that these folks are saying cannot and should not be lumped into that category because it leads to actual terrorism and it leads to actual violence, and people have been hurt because of less things than this. So
yeah, no, this is true. And the fact that you think that he just did this just because there are so many more people and pages that are saying the same thing on the far right, who, or even on the left, there's a lot of crazies all between in this whole thing who think that going out there and putting that out there, putting it on pages like on Facebook and secret codes and following this QAnon rhetoric and storylines and conspiracy theories, they think that this is just something that's to be kept online. But what we saw on January 6th shows us that's not the truth. So when they are out here saying to go kill elected officials, there are people who believe that Joe Biden stole presidency and think that they hear what this man says and are still hurt about Donald Trump not being president, that they want to go along with that and think this is the way to go, is go kill elected officials to make a point. And then, and then a woman gets killed like at during the January 6th terrorist attack, and they're all crying about it. But you guys were ready and planning with your guns, pulling up to the damn Capitol with zip ties, taking away emergency alarm little buttons from underneath elected officials' desks. And, come on. So all what you guys were saying before, those same people that were doing what Brendan was doing, that came up to, that allowed that whole terrorist attack to happen. Yeah. That's all the same. So, and this, even though this guy was taken in for what he was saying, this ain't the only one. This ain't the only person out here doing it. Oh, no. There's so many more. And that cult that Donald Trump created, they believe and follow everything. And they believe that, yes, killing elected officials because of the president that we have now is it. And here's the thing. In other countries, that is a thing. But they're doing that so that they could, it's not stolen elections like what they're trying to say it is here. Americans are so freaking spoiled and so dumb. And like they literally will make it seem like they're in a third world country because of a president that got the seat fair and square.
Right.
I don't understand it. I just don't get it.
They feel like they are oppressed because they lost this election.
That's crazy.
And while most of them have a little bit more savvy and intelligence than this Brendan Hunt guy than to outright call for the murder of elected officials, they are laundering the same type of animus, the same type of anger. They're fueling it. And they don't, in some cases, the people listening in the audience of like Tucker Carlson and Sean Hannity, Fox News, and no longer Rush Limbaugh.
Another one that
the audience, their audiences don't need you to expressly say, go and harm or kill this person, right? there are people in those audiences. When you have a platform, you have a responsibility. And instead of taking it as a responsibility, they're doing the exact opposite in conservative circles. What they're absolutely doing is they're sowing the seeds that are going to lead to even more violence, whether they directly call for that violence or not. Donald Trump was a master of this. There's actually a term for it. It's called stochastic terrorism. And it's terrorism that you incite, but you never have to put your hands on it. You don't have to fund it. You don't have to organize it. All you do is sit back and incite it with your rhetoric. And this is exactly what's happening. So while this one guy is going to jail because of it, we have a long list of conservatives who have been doing this. I mean, Bill O'Reilly got an abortion provider killed because he targeted that man on his television show every single night. Same thing with Rush Limbaugh. I mean, there is violence that happens whether or not you directly call for it. And while this moron Brendan Hunt directly called for it, he's not alone in the type of rhetoric that can get people killed.
Yep. And on top of that, I feel that you said something very deep. Tucker Carlson in the Fox News space is exactly what Rush Limbaugh was.
In the radio world.
Is exactly what Rudy Giuliani was, as the right hand of Donald Trump. They have representation in each of these spaces that are speaking to the cult group so that they can reach out to them in every single way possible. They even were selecting writers during Donald Trump's presidency to cover it with the same rhetoric and the New York Times. So, they're everywhere. And that's why I say we have to walk outside and be very careful with our lives because of those kind of folks, because of these kind of people that will go shoot up somewhere in the name of Donald Trump or in the name of those ideas that he put out there. And that's why I'm like, I don't know, man. This is crazy. That man ain't even in office, my God, today. And there are people that are still
They still think he's going to be
this Colt 45. Is it? I don't know.
Yeah, no, they honestly believe that, and they have a level of anger. They have been discussing a second civil war since Donald Trump got elected in 2016 and took office in 2017. Right. It wasn't enough. It wasn't good enough for them to win in 2016, 2017. It was the fact that they have an agenda that they intend on carrying out, regardless of if they're in power or not. And this is why their behavior, conservatives' behavior, is exactly the same, whether they are in power or not. It is scorch earth. It is take no prisoners. It is tear it all down. If we can't have everything, nobody can have nothing. And that's the attitude that they bring. And that's why they are saying, a civil war. Because you know why? For them, black people getting killed. And we might have to stay public for a little bit longer because we still got to cover the updates in the Ahmad Arbery case. We still need to cover updates in Andrew Brown Jr. case.
This might be today. Today's their full show.
They might get a full show today.
Today's your full show.
But that said, to these folks, it is more egregious for Donald Trump to have not won the second time around than it is for all the black people who've got. In fact, not only do they not think the black people who've gotten killed by police is a big deal, they think that the police were right and they feel good about it. So this is the type of thing that we're dealing with. And these are the type of folks that we're fighting against. And these are also the types of folks that there's a small faction who believe that we need to appeal to them. Like we need to bring them into our camp. We need to have solidarity with them because some of them are poor. I don't give a damn. I don't care what economic status they are. If their bottom line is our oppression, they can kick bricks. That's all I got.
Yeah. No, that's it. And that's that on that, period, point blank.
Yeah. Let's do a quick break. When we come back, we're going to stay live for the public show, more likely than not after this.
Play something nice, Baba.
I got you, Rebecca. I wish I had some Haitian music to play.
But she look good. I just want that right now.
Right.
I can't wait to get this on it. You
Shout out to everybody that's still watching, y'all. My gosh, we got some viewers today. Welcome. If it's your first time viewing, like it or not, and if you want to make sure that you see more content, make sure you become a Patreon member. Patreon.com/like it or not. Patreon.com/like it or not. Get ad-free exclusive content, and you get access to the Patreon parties where we get to play not only the copyright-free music, but also all the copyright hits that you're used to hearing on the radio today. So make sure that you join Patreon, y'all. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. Like it or not, coming up. Alicia, good morning. Shout out to Mark S. Susan, Michael, I see y'all. Good morning.
Don't take too long. I've been waiting on you to pull up. Girl, I know you got a member, he can stay at home. He don't need to be around when I'm taking you down. Damn, that drink too strong. We could roll up. My baby, just hold up. Say you got a friend, bring it in. We can do what you wanna. I know you need it, not to sound conceited.
Anna, good morning. Good morning. Patricia, good morning. And don't forget tongue tied all the way. Don't forget to hit the like button, y'all. Make sure that you share and subscribe, y'all. Make sure that you share and subscribe.
You want it right now. Want it right now. Don't take too long. Yeah. You want it right now.
Right.
Right now. Don't take too long.
Welcome back to the screen, y'all. About to say, welcome back to the club. Welcome back to the screen, y'all.
Hey, man, look, let me tell you. You said it right. Welcome back to the club. Bro, like, when we first started putting this morning show format together, like, it really, if you listen to the show versus watching it, it sounds like we in the club somewhere, especially when you be bopping the music stuff. And it just sounds like we in somebody's club in Atlanta every single morning putting together the news while we at the club. So, but anyway.
And that's a good vibe though, because it brings it where after we done ripped Tim Scott, what's his name?
Mm-hmm.
After we done ripped him a new one, and after we had to, talk about more police murderers, well, at least we could just put on a little bit of trap or a little bit of
something nice
R&B or a little bit of something that makes it feel like it's gospel, or just talk to each other about some random stuff like the strip club.
Because it's no, that was in the after party yesterday,
and that's all right.
Yeah, that was the after party. We went through all the names of anyway.
And
so I digress.
Here, and since the viewers are here with us and we're giving you guys a full show, usually we don't do that. You guys come to the after party or a little more laid back vibe, but still getting the news. Since you guys are here, don't forget super chats. Make sure you put those super chats.
Oh yeah.
Head over to patreon.com/like it or not and become a Patreon right now.
Oh man.
And also free Rebecca. Patreon right now. Free Rebecca right now.
All right.
Yes,
we really at the club. What y'all are saying? What y'all are saying is come throw the money up at the stage. That's what y'all are doing.
Yes.
That's what y'all saying.
Yes.
So anyway,
we throw money at the stage.
The thing is, you're absolutely right, Rebecca, because you prefaced it, because now we have to go into stories that just kind of like they have this. What is it about the summer? What is it about the spring and the summer in this country that we see? It is like we just see an uptick in the number of police murders of black people. And so it does wear us down, but we have to cover it. So Rebecca, what are some of the updates you got?
Yes. Yeah. So a judge on Wednesday yesterday denied a request to release body camera video in the case of Andrew Brown, whom we've been covering these past few days. The decision came shortly after a North Carolina prosecutor said that Brown Jr. had hit law enforcement officers with his car before they opened fire. District Attorney Andrew Womble told the judge that he viewed the body camera video and disagreed with the characterization by attorneys for Brown's family that his car was stationary when the shooting started.
Yeah, but it does, stationary or not. The fact is that they killed him from behind. They shot him.
It was an execution.
From behind. He was in execution. He was leaving. He was trying to get away so that he could not get shot. That's natural instinct. You can't tell me that a person is supposed to comply when they're getting shot at by these cops. I had to catch myself. We ain't in the private show yet. But that said, he was shot from behind. And the judge absolutely... Let me start here. when we talk about police murders of black people or anybody, because one of the stories we have to cover today is not a black man who was killed by but I don't know what he was, but I know he wasn't black. So it's not just the police murders of black people, but when we cover it, we have to understand that it's not just the damn police officers, it's the entire system, because the judge understands what he saw. And he understands that that can't be released right now, because if it's released right now, the cry for justice would be so big and so great that their little city couldn't handle it. And so they're going to do, in this case, like we've seen done in Chicago with Rahm Emanuel. They suppressed that video until it was the most convenient time for them to release that video. Oh yeah, Rahm Emanuel, Chicago, Democrat. He suppressed the video of Laquan McDaniel being killed, shot 17 times by police officers. And this is exactly what we're facing here. So he's seen the video. And if anyone has seen, I'm going to try to find it while we discuss this, but there's a video of those officers on the back of a truck driving to the scene to literally get Andrew Brown Jr.
Yes.
And the way they rode up on that truck, they were all piled on the back of it. It instantly reminded me of how you would see pictures and videos of Klansmen all piled up in the back of a truck going to lynch somebody. And this is exactly what these officers did in the murder of Andrew Brown. And it's not just the officers who are complicit with this cover up. It's also now this judge who refuses to release the video. That's all I got.
I mean, yeah.
Until I find the video.
I saw that you did post it up, and it did look like that. Just it.
You know what it was? It was our guy. It was our guy who came on from Chicago. I can't remember his name, but he posted it and I retweeted it. I'm gonna get it. Go ahead, Rebecca. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, the footage that that I saw, even in the still form, it was of the police officers rolling up in that damn truck, ready to just pull up on this man. And why did it take so many of those officers? My God, for one man. And then the other photo next to it that they were comparing it to was KKK, in their hoods and their whole attire in the back of a truck, the same way, rolling up to go kill and lynch black folks. So this is to me, it's okay to compare the police officers to the KKK, because that's exactly how that's exactly
the energy that they took.
That is exactly their motive, of operation. And that is exactly who they are. I mean, they looked at this man. They didn't give him an opportunity to do anything.
4 seconds. 4 seconds between the time they got to the scene and the time they killed him. Go ahead, Rebecca.
And no, right there. That's it for me. 4 seconds. 4 seconds from when they came, pulled up on that man, and executed him. It didn't take anything.
So you can barely, I'm going to pull the video as well, but you can barely see it. This is on the left-hand side. You can see the police officers in their truck piled up in the background, in the back of the truck, on their way to get Andrew Brown Jr. And you can't tell me it does not have the same exact energy as the picture on the right-hand side of the Klan riding up. I mean, and then the fact they only gave that brother 4 seconds, which is 2 seconds more than they gave 12-year-old Tamir Rice. That's the kind of stuff that we're facing. Dwayne, I'm dropping it in the chat now, in the Slack rather. There's the video. Go ahead, Rebecca.
No. The amount of time is always something.
Oh goodness,
that boggles my mind, because we had George Floyd and how much time a knee was on his neck. And then we had, and that's a long time. That man was fighting for his life. 9 minutes. 9 minutes. And then we have, the amount of time that I don't know, but I know it was brief. It was within seconds that they done shot Breonna Taylor in her sleep. The amount of time, which was, we know, less than a minute, less than 30 seconds of arrival that they shot down Ma'Khia Bryant. So it's like there was a show on Netflix called 7 Seconds. Which I don't know why was canceled, but I think it was because it was too truthful. It had too much truth in it.
Oh,
when
yeah,
her
I remember
son
that.
was murdered in 7 seconds, and just left there. And cops did everything they could to cover it up, all of that good stuff. But it's just a thing though, and they canceled that. It was so good, it was getting all the rave and all this stuff, but they canceled that show.
That was the one with Regina King, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just for the life of me, I cannot understand how a person, particularly young folks, like Tamir Rice had 2 seconds, Ma'Khia Bryant had 30 seconds, Andrew Brown had 4 seconds. How can anyone decide to take a life of someone that they don't know nothing about, not a damn thing about, in less than 30 seconds? That's barbaric. Dwayne, play the video. I want you guys to see the video of how it's a split screen. On one side, you can see them coming in one direction. On the other side, you'll see them going off in the opposite direction. But you're going to see the energy that they pulled up to Andrew Brown Jr.'s house. Let's take a look at it. On the left side, here they come. They're all piled up in the back of their souped up truck.
Oh my God, it's just so whack. Like,
and watch, you got to watch in the far distance as they get out. They are going to jump out like they are on a mission. Watch them jump out the back of the truck. There they go.
Oh my God.
There they go. I mean, here they come. There's still more. They are coming to that scene, ready to execute this brother.
Are those all cops in those vans and
the
trucks
white
too?
van and the pickup truck too? Yeah.
I know that the car behind them for sure was a cop. I'm not sure about those other two. Well, you know what? They edited it, they cut it, so I'm sure they only included the vehicles that were cop cars. But
my thing is, with the video, body cam footage, they don't want to allow the full body cam footage to the family, which tells me that our fight to even get this recorded, or what's the point of having a body cam when the family can't even get the footage of what truly happened?
Exactly.
Just to know that my son is gone, I want to see it. I want to see it. I want to know what happened, because that could possibly be what gives us the justice that we need for my son, my child, my brother, my cousin, my friend. But the fact that they will not give it lets us know there is no point of the body cam. There is no reason for it.
Right.
Why?
They don't care.
Why do they? Why? If they're not going to give the people what they need. So now what? No matter what we do, they will find a way to tell us, like, no, we're going to work around that to make sure that we continue to protect this system, to keep it to do what it's doing.
Yeah.
We don't want y'all to make our system look outrageous, look like murderers, and that's what kills me, because it's like, what's the point? We done had the situation with Mike Brown, and then we were fighting for those body cams, and there is no. The body cams are here, and yeah.
They cut them off when they want to cut them off.
Mm-hmm.
They don't release them when they don't want to release them. And every time, Tim Scott was talking about this in his speech last night. Was it in his speech or some commentary? But he was complaining because Democrats didn't join in with him to get more funding for body cams. And he was using that as a way of saying, hey, I want to address police brutality as well. But look at these Democrats. They wouldn't give us extra funding for body cams. Why the hell, Tim, should we give you more money for body cams when in these cases, one, they either cut them off or they press the mute button so you can't hear the conversations, or then later a judge says, no, we don't want, and all it amounts to is more money for police officers instead of what needs to be done, which is defund the police.
And somebody said it good is that the video is not ready yet. That's what it is. It's in post-production.
It's in post-production.
Think about it, because that's why the judge doesn't want to release the footage, because they know that footage is going to show exactly what happened. So now they're trying to fix it, doctor it, do whatever they can, and I guarantee you next week it's going to miraculously appear. Oh, we have the video ready for you.
Yep. Because this video didn't have the person that they murdered with a weapon that they planted, because they'll plant it. But this didn't have. Was
that Baltimore?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
This didn't have someone that or this video didn't have him with something in his hand that was a weapon that he possibly brought and was having a manic episode probably. Like, it didn't have something that they can just say, hey, we wanted to go ahead and be transparent, put this footage out so you guys can see. It took them 2 seconds to put that Ma'Khia Bryant footage out. But it only it's taken us days. It's taken us days, weeks to get this video. I don't understand it.
Right.
I don't
because
understand
they know what's in the goddamn video. They know what's in the video is damning information. Look at how these clowns rolled up to the scene. Bro, the only time I've ever rolled up to a scene like that was back in college days where you had to do what we had to do. These dudes pulled up with a mission. They pulled up with the mission to take this guy out, and they gave him 4 seconds from the time they got there to the time they executed him. And now we can't even get the body cam footage because the judge said that there's conversations at the beginning and there's conversations at the end. He just outright said that needed to be edited out. That's what he said in his decision. And it just shows you, in this fight for justice in this country, we absolutely are not only fighting against the police state, but we're also fighting against these institutions that are so-called justice system, and is more apt to be called the injustice system. That's what we're working against. So there's still more.
There's still more. I mean, we're still fighting now. Last year we were dealing with the murder of Ahmad Arbery. So now, the new developments with that is that Gregory McMichael, his son Travis McMichael, and William Bryan face charges of attempted kidnapping and hate crimes in the death of Ahmad Arbery. The indictment alleges that the defendants used force and threats to intimidate and interfere with Arbery's right to use a public street because he was Black. Attorneys for McMichaels and Bryan said, there is absolutely nothing in the indictment that identifies how this is a federal hate crime, and it ignores without apology that Georgia law allows a citizen to detain a person who is committing burglaries until police arrive.
Look at these. I hate
Another one.
I'm sorry for anybody in the audience who's an attorney, but defense attorneys who have to defend monsters, I swear to God, y'all need to find a new line of work. But I digress. I understand you got to have representation. But for this clown to say that Georgia law allows a citizen to detain a person who is committing burglaries until police arrive, he's saying that this brother, Ahmad Arbery, who was jogging, was committing burglaries, right? This is what they do, man. They kill us in real life, and then they kill us in the media.
Yes.
They execute us in real life, and then they execute our character. They assassinate us, and then they assassinate our character, because the only way they can get away with these things in the year of our Lord 2021 is if they find enough people on the jury who's going to look at them and say, yeah, I would have been scared of that Black man too. And this is what this attorney is doing. Now, I'm grateful. I'm grateful that we have a Justice Department now that is willing to actually look into these crimes as hate crimes, because you cannot tell me that when they decided, and another thing, I'm sorry, run that B-roll one more time. I don't know if you could see it in this B-roll, but yet again, here they go, pulling up in their souped up truck to execute their version of justice, right? You can see in a couple seconds, there's the truck, and this is the situation. There it is. They jumping out of their truck. Right. And it's not, I know it's not a big deal. Everybody has trucks. I get it. But I'm sorry. It just harkens back too much to everything we know about this country's history and how they would all clan together. Nope. Every pun intended. They would all clan together, jump in their vehicles, and come hunt down Black folks and lynch us. And this is what they're doing. And they're not using ropes anymore. They're just using the Second Amendment as an excuse to kill us.
It's sad. It is sad that, they have to be, I want them to be charged, not indicted for more than just a hate crime, right? It needs to be murder.
Put under the jail, put them under
the jail, keep them in jail. I need them. What we saw was full on murder by people we don't even people. It gives the energy of when Trayvon Martin was murdered by George Zimmerman. People are taking this on. People that work in, they'll see a Black person and say they don't belong there. You don't belong here. You just don't belong here. And
you must be breaking some law.
You must be breaking some law. And that's what they tried to get and say, that he was burglarizing homes that were vacant. This is a man who goes jogging, a young man who goes jogging often, clearly, and must know the area. But they're just like, he's Black. He has to be burglarizing something. And I feel like it's my duty to protect my
This
community.
neighborhood. It's a tight knit
And
community.
this neighborhood, because of their history with being law, officers in some way, shape, or form, they still feel that they have that, ability to go and just murder people for free. White folks have the same, and not all white folks, but there are white people who feel like they have the same power and authority as police officers and move in that way. When they see a black person as a threat, shoot first. Shoot first. That's
just
why
like the video. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. That's why they will back up and defend police officers' actions and can't wait to see the person that they murdered in cold blood in less than 5 seconds with a weapon. But go ahead, Ben.
I was going to say, it's just like the video we saw, I think it was last week or the week before, of the Army sergeant who was harassing that young black man, this big Army sergeant harassing the young black man who was walking to his house, right? And the Army sergeant harassed him saying, "We don't know you. This is our neighborhood." He said, "This is a tight-knit community." And had it not been on video, it probably would have gone even worse for that young black man. And the thing is, it's like, in the backdrop of all this, you got this clown, Tim Scott, who's more than happy to grin with all 8,000 teeth and say America is not a racist nation. And the proof, there's too much evidence to the contrary. Ask the Native Americans. Ask the enslaved black people. Ask the people that we bombed in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, let alone the Japanese people we interned during World War II, right? Ask any, but especially ask black people in the year of our Lord 2021, when we are basically being ruled by sundown town laws in certain cities across this country, namely in Georgia, particularly with this Ahmad Arbery case, which I'm glad they opened up a hate crime federal investigation into it. And they have been charged. We'll see how it goes, but
if they didn't consider hate crime a thing,
what
they wouldn't have what would become of these men?
Right.
They would be home chilling, eating for free, just enjoying life while, in the neighborhood that they killed somebody. I cannot. But
and the dummy released the video himself. The person who had because they thought they did the right thing. So stupid.
So dumb.
And so confident in their white supremacy.
I was just about to say
in their whiteness.
It's because of that whole idea of white supremacy and them still moving in the Ku Klux Klan ideas, and especially with the older man once being on the force, I believe, and he, and he's older, so I can definitely tell, especially in that part of Georgia, he moves. And when he was on the force, how many people did he attack? Or when he was working in or around that, how many times did he use his authority to attack folks? And, how many people did he probably murder? I don't know. We don't know. Anywho, officers are still killing folks. Still killing folks, pinning them down. In California on Tuesday, police officer or California police released the body cam footage of Mario Gonzalez, a 26-year-old father and East Oakland resident, being pinned to the ground by officers for over 5 minutes. According to the family, this resulted in the man's death, and his family is calling for murder charges for the police officers involved. The initial statement from the Alameda Police Department said Gonzalez had a medical emergency during an altercation with police officers after they tried to arrest him. But his family says he was killed by police who used excessive force.
Wow.
Officers originally approached Mr. Gonzalez in a park after receiving 911 calls that he appeared to be disoriented or drunk. After speaking with him, police began trying to forcibly put restraints on him, and he struggled. In the video, we can see one officer put an elbow on his neck and his knee and a knee on his shoulder. Another officer appears to put a knee on Gonzalez's back and leaves it there for about 4 minutes as Gonzalez gasps for air. "I didn't do anything, okay?" Gonzalez can be heard saying. The Alameda County Sheriff's Department, the County District Attorney's Office, and a former San Francisco city attorney hired by the city to lead an independent inquiry will all be investigating his death according to reports. The 3 officers involved in the arrest have been placed on paid leave during the investigation. And I know that you guys were probably looking for the footage to be played, but we don't do all that. We don't
do that.
We're not going to play that because it's triggering to you guys, and we don't want to leave you guys in that way, or even ourselves. So, if you want to see it, you can definitely go look for that footage. But it's nothing that we haven't seen or heard before. This is going back to George Floyd. This is going back to Eric Garner. This is like, if we just take this back, it's so many people who have been pinned down using force. That officers are taught when the situation is extreme. My God, but somebody who was saying they didn't do anything, and why is it that you need so many officers to come and pin this person down? You already have them down on the ground. You already have them restrained. I don't know why it needs all of that. All of you guys to come and pin this person down and sit there as the person is saying, gasping for air. How do you allow the George Floyd thing? And I know they've seen it. I know they watched it. I know and you guys just do the same thing. The man died. And then for you guys to say there was a medical emergency? You killed somebody. You killed
lionesses.
It's the same thing with George Floyd. And I hope they get to the bottom of it. It's the exact same thing. Come on, like a medical emergency. Y'all said the same thing when George Floyd died.
Yeah,
fix this shit,
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. They will. This is okay. Let me say this from a journalism perspective. There should not be a single media outlet in this country that publishes a police report without stating very clearly that this is not necessarily the facts. Matter of fact, just don't publish it at all, because when you publish these police reports, people automatically assume that these are the facts because they don't have the assumption inside of them that police officers lie, because we still trust cops in this country. I don't know why, but this country still trusts cops. That said, how many times have we found after the fact that these police reports were filed as lies? And this is exactly what happened in this brother's case. They said he had a medical emergency. The medical emergency was y'all white supremacy killing this brown man. That's the medical emergency.
Mario Gonzalez.
That's what's happening in this. And that's the other thing. It's not just black folks, but y'all are killing us at a disproportionate rate.
Higher, definitely.
The police state in this country will kill anybody.
Yes. White folks included, they own. They own.
I will bring up this brother's name every single time. I know,
the one that they executed.
Daniel Shaver. Yes. In that hotel lobby. In that hotel hallway. I will bring up his name, that white brother who was on his hands.
He got on his knees. He
begging.
Complied. He complied. They had them big ass guns on that boy. He complied.
And Rebecca, the way they played Simon Says with this man's life, Daniel Shaver's life, and there were no charges filed against that police officer. None. I've had, and this is why I don't really play these anymore. I've seen a lot of police killings. Too many. That one took the cake because the man was begging. Daniel Shaver was begging, a white man begging for his life. And these police officers played Simon Says, hands on the floor, not that hand, the other hand. If you mess up one more time, we're going to kill you. And then they killed him.
Oh my God, that's why you're right. They played Simon Says with that boy's life. They played a game because they get off on that. There was the video that I was telling you guys about last week about those 2 men that were on the bicycle, and they were just riding the bike, and the police officer stopped them right there. Yes. And they told one of them, get off, get on the ground, crawl to me. Crawl to me. And all I could do was just be so scared and say, God, please don't let them shoot him for moving towards the officer who said to move towards him.
Exactly.
On his hands and knees, from the concrete to the ground to the edge of the road where the officer stood. So, God, it kills me. And
the animals.
That man was begging for his life. Eric Garner was telling him that he couldn't breathe. Then we watched George Floyd literally call for his mom. They will break you They will break you. They will make you so small and get joy out of it so that their authority could feel, so they can feel like they are literally standing in their authority, not protecting, not bringing peace, not trying to figure out things, not trying to de-escalate, none of that, but for them to feel powerful in this stupid ass position. It's ridiculous.
And it's happening right now somewhere in this country. Some police officer with small dick energy is trying to assert his manhood at the expense of somebody he just pulled over. And we don't know how that story is going to end. But we do know too many of these stories end with the execution and assassination. I'm thinking about Fred Cox, actually. He's another black man, 18-year-old boy, actually, in Elizabeth City, right there where Andrew Brown was killed. When I was covering this over with Roland Martin, he interviewed the parents. And this young man, and we're going to have to go to break. This young man was at a funeral, and apparently something started happening across the street from the funeral where gunshots were ringing out. He jumped and he ran and grabbed an old lady and tried to take her to safety. But there was a police officer attending the funeral. And that police officer took out his gun and killed that 18-year-old boy. And for 6 months, they have not been able to even get the name of the officer who did it. These are the types of injustices. You can't go to sleep. You can't be asleep in bed. You can't go jogging. You can't even attend a damn funeral without facing the fear and the possibility of being assassinated by, I'm also thinking about Michael Reinhold, another white guy who was actually assassinated by Donald Trump's goons. Donald Trump sent his troops down there to kill this guy who was protesting during the George Floyd protest on behalf. Actually, no, he was in Wisconsin. He was near and around the Kyle Rittenhouse. He didn't get killed by Kyle Rittenhouse, but he was, I may have my geography wrong, but it was around that same time frame for sure. And so we just see example after example after example. And the reason I'm bringing up, like, Michael Reinhold was a white guy and Daniel Shaver was a white guy, and obviously we're going to cover the news with Gonzalez, is the fact that, y'all, black folks have been trying to tell y'all for generations that this is what cops do. And I guess my only question is how many white folks y'all gonna let get killed before y'all realize, and I'm not talking, I'm preaching to the choir, right? I know our audience gets it, but conservatives, how many, who they got to kill for you to realize that there's a problem?
They're saying it was Portland, Oregon for...
Portland, thank you. Michael Reinhold. Yeah. I know I had my geography off, but it was around the same time as Kyle Rittenhouse, who killed 2 people, and then he got millions of dollars raised to give him bail. All right. We're not going to leave the show on that note. Let's take a quick break. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to lighten the load a little bit. More likely than not after this.
I could really use a change of scenery. Everybody smoking all the
You already know this is my go-to song when I just breathe.
I'm still fly, I know.
Shout out to everybody that's still tuned in, y'all. We extended the show today. As you see, tomorrow we'll have our after party. So if you want to be a part of that after party, the best way to do it, all my super chat people, you'll be in there as well tomorrow. But if you drop a super chat or if you join Patreon, you'll be able to access the after party tomorrow. So make sure that you do that, y'all. Patreon.com/LikeItOrNotShow. And then follow us on social media. Instagram, Facebook at Like It or Not Show, y'all. Instagram and Facebook at Like It or Not Show, y'all. Let's let this music play.
It's my time to ride it out. It's my time. It's my time to ride it. I'm young, I'm free. Can't nobody take me here and now. It's my time to ride it out. It's my time. It's my time. It's my time to ride it now. It's your time. Oh. Cheers to all the haters, cause you proved to me that rising to the top was my destiny. And you can see whatever from behind me, but I'm still fly, I know. I'm still fly, let's go. It could all be words, I could be a hater like you. It could all be words. Clothes to make the man, but that poison's gonna kill you. From me,
Diesel, make sure you're not breaking none of your furniture, sir.
Say it with your chest now. Say it with your chest now. I'm young, I'm free. Can't nobody take me here and now. It's my time to ride it out. It's my time. It's my time. It's my time to ride it. I'm young, I'm free. Can't nobody take me here and now. It's my time to ride it out. It's my time. It's my time. It's my time to ride it out.
All right, shout out to everybody that's still checking us out, y'all. Love y'all, love y'all, love y'all.
On the bus, say yeah, yeah. If you're on the train, say yeah, yeah. If you gotta walk, say yeah, yeah. Everybody's going somewhere. Yeah. Young or
Michael Dean Ballard, hope you're doing good.
yeah.
Mama, you better not be riding out nowhere. Stay your little ass at home, mama.
Put your fist up in the air. Say yeah. I'm young, I'm free. Can't nobody take me here.
It's funny in the chat, it's just yes.
It's my time to ride it out. It's my time. It's my time. It's my time to ride it. I'm young, I'm free.
Somebody said, I thought he said it's my time to riot. No, it's not time to riot, y'all, okay? Never mind. Afraid not, you welcome.
It's my time to ride.
Black Dragon, my bad, I apologize. Whoa. All right, y'all, welcome back. I had to play the song for y'all. Welcome back, Ben and Rebecca, y'all.
Hey, that's my jam. Everybody in the chat room putting them yeahs up.
Right.
It's my time to riot, yeah.
It's my
It's my time. It's my
It's
time.
my time to riot, yeah.
No, he
riot.
doesn't.
It sounds good.
It sound good. It do.
He kills that run, boy. I like that.
Ben been
dude.
practicing for that run, honey. Okay.
Hey, no, I haven't been practicing. It's just I listened to the song at least 500 times. Like however many streams he's
Right.
got. His name is Revel Day, Revel Day. However many streams he has on Spotify, 75% of them are mine. So there we go.
Right.
All right,
And
so
he did say, you know what? He did say that on his Twitter. He did say that he noticed a huge increase. So shout out to the Pride family and the Lion family. Y'all done boosted the man's stream. So that's some good stuff right there.
That's love. That's love. Like I said, 75% of them are mine. Like so. Anyway, there was this. I want us to come back with it's this funny video. This is an oldie, but a goodie. I mean, we've never played it here. Now, it's got a lot of cussing in it, but the context of it, you'll understand why. It's a reporter who came down south to cover a particular news story. And, in the South in the summertime, you got bugs that are aggressive, and they are extremely aggressive to the point where they don't care if they die. They just want to get in your eye, your ear, or your mouth. Let's take a look at this classic clip.
What really happened on that Thursday here at Augusta High School that led to Chris Wood's death?
The fuck is that? Yeah. I'm dying in this fucking country ass fucked up town. Shit flying in my mouth. The fuck? I can't see pollen. Let's get the fuck out this country, motherfucker. I can't even see me.
I cannot. I cannot.
He's still on the air to this
reporter
day.
from the big city. Is he still on the air?
He's on the air.
He's still on the air. I gotta find his name, but I saw him pretty recently on some network. I saw him on.
Please find it. If you guys find like an updated version
Oh
of
my
him
God.
doing the news,
See what he looks like? Yes.
Oh, but listen, yo, hey, these bugs in the South don't play. I had a bug fly at me like it was coming at the speed of light, and that thing shot in my ear, and it was so fast I didn't really realize what happened until later on that night, y'all. All I heard was bzz, bzz, bzz. That thing was stuck in my ear. I had to go to the doctor to get that damn bug in Georgia taken out of my ear. So y'all can't play with bugs in the South.
Stuff like that on TV, Ben. That actually
He
happened.
said in this podunk country.
Wait, what's even funnier, Rebecca, and you gotta interpret it, because he started off with his broadcaster voice, his journalist voice, and
he definitely did. That man started off like, let me find something. According to the Office of Legislative Budget Analyst, the state of Tennessee. What the fuck is that? You got these
little country ass town I'm in.
Country ass town got me in this shit all the way up and goddamn fucking. We don't even know this motherfucker. I ain't signed. They don't pay me enough for this shit. And I apologize for the cursing. And scene.
He went 0 to nigga real quick.
That man was.
Hey,
done.
we not in the after party. We gave y'all the after party real quick.
I apologize. I apologize for giving you guys the after party vibes. But you know, I did forget.
But hold on. One of the best parts is at the end, right here. I ain't gonna play it with the sound again. But at the end, after he wiped his mouth off, he got right back in the character. He's like, "Let me real quick. We gotta get this hit done."
He said, "I got to get this bunny." Ooh, boy. Oh, man. The amount of blackness that we suppress to be palatable to America.
You see,
I
and
swear
that
to God.
was this was back then. So you know, that's why it had come out. He was fucking over it. I probably would have been speaking Creole. I probably would have changed my whole language and just went, I don't know.
Wait.
Are you effing serious?
Is there a what is the ghetto version of of Creole? Like how do you go from like proper Creole into like I wish a mother would Creole?
The same way with English. We just literally will say words that are curse words. It's funny because with Haitians we talk in parables. So yeah, we definitely will say stuff like look at you, and that means like you ain't shit. like stuff like that. Like we speak in parables. We make it very poetic.
We gotta say it in Creole though. Say it first.
Got it low. Got it figure. Like, you know, like, and or they'd be like, you know, get out of my face would be like, go wash your front. I lave devant. Or, you know, what I like to say is when people, when I say people, I'm not to be messed with. That in Creole, I say I don't eat cold food for people. So it's like manger fret pour moun. So I'm not to be messed. I'm not to be messed with. I don't be out here eating cold food. And it doesn't make sense. But in the way you say it, pas manger fret pour moun. No.
It sounds
the whole attitude.
But it didn't sound threatening. Like you guys, it sounds
poetic.
almost poetic.
That's
I would say romantic. So you could be literally
expressions.
You could literally be about
look at.
Yeah.
You could literally be about to gut somebody, like to just slice them, and if they're just listening to what you're saying, they might think you try to holler at them. That's how.
It's true. It's because and it's funny because I grew up and people used to tell me, oh, you know, it's fake French and you know, it's an ugly language and things like that. But I'm like, that's so crazy because our language is really, really beautiful, especially where my mother's from, and from Port-au-Prince. And the reason why they didn't teach us full on French when they came here because they felt like that is the our oppressors' language. So they taught us Creole, which was a language that was created a mix of French, a mix of Spanish, and African dialect. And that's what we speak. So, and that was a result of them not wanting to speak their language. And, you know, we wanted to speak something that was closer. My parents wanted to make sure that we spoke the language that made them feel cultured. And so that's why we speak the language that we speak. They speak French. My dad speaks Spanish fluently. My mom speaks French fluently. So it's like, you know, but I don't want to speak them languages. They made sure that, oh no, she gonna learn. She gonna learn this Creole and she gonna speak it. So, but when they do cuss you out, sweetie, we could be in line at the grocery store. If you hear me flip my language, just know I could be talking about you. I could definitely be talking about you.
No, most likely you are talking about them. Speaking of, I slid by that that wing spot down there. No, it's a different. Anyway, no, we gotta talk about that one off the air. Anyway, yeah, because you introduced me to it. Your friend.
Oh,
Is the wing spot we was talking about yesterday?
No,
Never mind.
No, they didn't get in the way.
Oh, not at the strip club.
Yeah, Bubba, that one went right on over their head.
But you know why I went right over my head is because I absolutely refuse. I would never eat at a strip club. It's just like I just don't want.
Yeah, we don't want booty hair on our.
Juicy.
Damn, man, it depends on what strip club it is, but anyway, we digress.
But
the people in the audience like,
my house.
They like, wow, they
when
go
I'm
from
shipping for my man. But no,
Rebecca.
That wing spot. I know what you're talking about. You went all the way to that wing spot. Yo, I can pull up on them because that was some good wings.
Well, because what I appreciate, because I thought about going there before, because they got the best wings, I think, like in Georgia, right? They're in the top 10 of Georgia. And
they're probably like the top 2 in that area.
Definitely in that area for
and
sure.
And they being the number 1.
I went to I didn't want to go there because I didn't know how they handled themselves and COVID and everything. But I was driving by because we had to go up in that area yesterday, and I saw the door was open. I was like, oh, okay, door open, you can let ventilate. I pulled by a little closer. They had a big fan in there blowing air out. I said, okay, they trying to make sure everybody had a mask on. They had everything sealed off. So I went in and ordered some of them good wings. But there's more to the story. I have to tell y'all. I can't tell you the rest on air. Anyway, we're out of news, and I'm good for the day. I think we had a good time.
I think this
despite all the stuff that we had to cover.
Right, and I think this is the perfect time. My little hairs be just curling up, but I think this is the perfect time for Bubba to
give the people some love,
because I know that he hasn't been able to play because we've been so jam-packed with news. So, Bubba, I think before we get out of here, make sure whoever, all you guys that's viewing, I love that our audience is growing. Our family is growing. Make sure you sign on to patreon.com/like it or not and become a Patreon today to support Bubba and I to be here with Benjamin Dixon on time for me and forever with Bubba and Rebecca and Ben, so free Rebecca. We really want to be doing this for you guys.
One last thing that they can do. Listen, and I got to remember to say this on a regular basis. If you have Amazon Prime, you can support the show by going to twitch.tv, go to Benjamin P. Dixon. You'll find us links everywhere. And you can subscribe to the channel by just donating your Amazon Prime. It doesn't cost you any extra money. It takes $5 from Jeff Bezos, and it gives it to us as we continue to expand on the show. So that's all I got. Rebecca, I already got her last words in. Love you. Mean it. James?
Love you guys. Mean it.
Love you guys.
See you next time.
We're going to get into some of this music, y'all. I got 5 minutes that I can spare today a little bit, so we're going to get to it, y'all. Shout out to everybody again that tuned in this morning and checked us out on Like It or Not. Make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Like It or Not Show. Instagram and Facebook at Like It or Not Show, y'all. Make sure that you hit the share button, the like button, drop us a comment, show some support. We love y'all, man. We appreciate you. Let's get to some music, y'all. DJ exclusive. And also, patreon.com/like it or not. Patreon.com/like it or not. Cindy D, good morning. Good morning. K-Lou, you can look for that for Rubber Day music on, may not be on Apple Music, but you can pull it up on Spotify. It's definitely on Spotify.
Always afraid of the unknown, 'cause we are not alright. Stuck in my head, saying can't find a way out. Don't close your eyes, 'cause we are not alright. Stuck in my head, saying can't find a way out. Don't close your eyes, 'cause we are not alright. First time.
Justice, good morning to you, Justice.
It was something in the air the night.
Aurora, good morning, Aurora.
You looked at me.
Tiger, I appreciate you. Purple Rain Hearts, don't break nothing over there.
When you get close and my heart fills up with butterflies, and then you leave me speechless. My world turned upside down. Just say that you won't go and break my heart. Break my heart, don't break it now. Remember, it's the only one I've got. The one I've got. Don't break my heart. Don't break my heart.
I hear you, Purple Rain Hearts.
Don't break my heart.
appreciate it. Justice Draconis, you are quite welcome. I hope that you're enjoying it.
Believe me, boy, I've tried. When you're near me, my heart fills up with butterflies, and then you leave me speechless. My world turned upside down.
All right, Tiger, I got you.
Just say, don't go and break my heart, break my heart. Don't break it now. Remember, it's the only one I've got, the one I've got. Don't break my heart.
Another sunny day in Southern California. It's where the people came to play. Don't let them transform you. Come and see what you've been missing on a little slice of heaven. It's the only place we're living. It's that West Coast point of view. Easy when it's always summertime fun. You ain't got everything to do. Who cares what the people think? It's been turning kinda gray in Southern California, but I'm allergic to the rain. What happened to euphoria? Oh, don't worry about it, don't worry about a damn thing. I'm too excited, dark liquor with the palm trees. It's all or nothing, ooh, it's all or nothing. No other signs, it's socialized. Come and see what you've been missing on a little slice of heaven. It's the only place we're living.
Boy, you had me from the start. By the way you stared, the way you wrote up for me, yeah. Man, I felt your energy. Wasn't used to being
Michael, I appreciate it.
loved and treated differently, yeah. But something went wrong. The signals got crossed.
My sister keep trying to scratch over there for me. I'm just auto mixing. I don't know what's going on.
Let's go where we were, where no one gets hurt. Baby, keep it right there. Don't you stress the flow. You're trying to pick the pace up. We should take it slow. Baby, keep your focus. Don't you make me change my mind. If you love me, baby, don't you switch up the vibe. Baby, don't you, baby, don't you, baby, don't you switch up the vibe. Baby, don't you.
Wolf Plate, I wish old school. Wait a minute, I think I got you.
Switch up the vibe. Boy, you take me on a trip. Always up and down and back and forth in merry-go-round. I just wanna get it right. But when you go left, I'm stuck here feeling left behind. Cause something went wrong, the signals got crossed, and now we're going different directions. Let's go where we were, when no one gets hurt. Baby, keep it right there, don't you stress the flow. You're trying to pick the pace up, we should take it slow. Baby, keep your focus, don't you make me change my mind. If you love me, baby, don't you switch up the
Hard worker, curse you but won't hurt you. Respect.
All right, y'all, this is gonna be our last song. When we say old school, when you talk about copyright free music, old school is the music that we played like a couple of months ago.
Baby, that's who raised me. Mama had
So shout out to all the mamas out there, y'all. Thank you, mama. Love you, mama. Oh, matter of fact, y'all, Mama Gwen got a birthday coming up on Saturday.
Now that I'm older, I'm getting a little closer. Love on
Mama turning that good old. I'm not gonna tell it.
My sister, brother, and father, strongest woman in my corner. I'm talking about my mama, yeah. If it wasn't for her, then it would not be me.
K-Lou, DM me, K-Lou. Let me see what we can do, okay? I can get you some of this music, all right?
If it wasn't for her, then it would not be me. I got nothing but love for all my mommies representing. Always gon' care for me no matter what, she there for me. From tutoring to therapy, my mama had the answers, G. Magician with the ring, she made it happen magically. Leave my jacket at the park again and that's an ass beating. If she say no, then she mean no, she don't need a reason. I always
yes, Purple Rain Hearts, hug your mother, people, hug your mama.
The bully, that's my old lady. Same woman, front row, yelling rap, baby. They want support and looking just like my daughter.
Sophia Williams, thank you so much. Let me find out we related.
She was getting tougher, she told me to pray harder. And if she hit the number, she would give me every dollar. Thanks, mama. If it wasn't for her, then it would not be me. I got nothing but love.
All right, y'all. We are going to end it right here, y'all. We thank y'all so much for tuning in and watching Like It or Not today. Make sure that you hit that like button, the comment button, share comment button. Make sure that you comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, y'all. If you want to become a member, check out patreon.com/likeitordnot. Patreon.com/likeitordnot, y'all. And we will see y'all in the morning. Like It or Not, y'all. Deuces.
No matter what, for her baby, she gon' hold it down. Remember all the times when I was out here running wild, doing everything and anything to make her smile. I just love it when my mama say I make her proud. If it wasn't for her, then it would not be me. I got nothing but love for all my mommies representing. If it wasn't for her, then it would not be me. I got nothing but love for all my mommies.